Okay, this is the 1916 Dodge. This is supposedly the first Dodge in Alaska. It was run on the Gibson trail line. It was ran from Fairbanks to Valdez successfully. This car probably was driven the last time in 1926. So for about a 10-year period, this car was used heavily. Great cars. It's the first mass-produced American car that had an all-steel body. And that was kind of important back then because the wooden bodies had a tendency to kind of come apart when you really used them rough on a trail. This car we had going recently, we just finished it up and it crossed the bridge here, in the opening of the bridge. And so to bring this car back to life was kind of a fun experience for us, and we're really fortunate to have it. This is on loan to us from the Camerons and David Stone, and just kind of a really neat old car. We're not restoring the car, we're just kind of preserving it, and it's a lot of fun to get out and drive around, and it runs pretty dang nice now. The paint you see on here is the original paint. It just has a sealer over the top of it, so it kind of darkens it up a little bit, but it keeps it from continuing to rust. It seals everything up. We try very hard to preserve the car. We don't want to restore it. If we restore it, we lose all the historical value of the car. And this is the picture of this car in the lead here, downtown Fairbanks on 1st Avenue, and they're getting ready to head to Chitna. And as you can see, they've got it loaded pretty heavy. Some of the stuff that's on here probably is not the original stuff, but some of the food stuff could still be in there, you know. We still have a little bit of the buffalo left here, and probably made into jerky, but I think it survived okay. To identify this car from this picture is very easy. We've looked at a lot of pictures of the early Dodges that were here, and when you look at this car very closely underneath, you notice it has tie downs right here, and you can see them underneath the car. You can see very closely all of the paint was wore off of the windshield frames where they tied ropes through there. You notice the extra piece across under the headlights to support the fenders and brace the fenders so they didn't shake and rattle so much. And another thing is underneath the front axles, between the axle and the spring, there's a hardwood block to raise the car up, give it more clearance on the road. And you can see all of those things on this car here. You can see the bar that they put across here. You see wooden blocks underneath the springs to raise it up. And one of the unique things is right here we see a patch where the frame had been broken. There's 2 more spots on the frame that had been broken. And if we look very closely underneath the right front fender, we'll see where it says shipped to Fairbanks, Alaska from W.L. Eaton, Seattle, Washington. Now, Eaton was the Dodge dealer in Seattle. Now, one of the things that happened with this old Dodge in the early days was to make room for more freight, they put a rack on the back of the car. In order to do that, they had to pull the fuel tank off the back of the car, which was a big round tank. They probably took it over to Wilbur Brothers, had the top of it cut off, and put a flat top on it, and put it under the seat. So when we pulled the seat out, and consequently thereafter had to pull the gas tank out, because the bottom of it was rusted away and we had to build a new fuel tank, we found some interesting items underneath the old fuel tank that had slid down along the seat and went under the fuel tank. And the first thing we dug out were these official programs from the 4th of July, Fairbanks, Alaska, July 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 1921.